Let's bring in now the host of the Locked On Heat podcast, David Ramil. David Ramil sipping the tea, ready for the tampering to begin.
Absolutely. That's the only way to do it here in Miami.
No wonder everyone wants to come to Miami. They just get to just sit with you, Dave, and drink beers.
It's almost as fun as hanging out with Pat Riley.
Give me your initial thoughts on the Kyle Lowry move that seems to, it's been a done deal for what, like 36, 24 hours now at this point?
Yeah. It's been in the works for a few months, actually. If you think back to what happened during the trade deadline when they were trying to acquire him and they fell just short because Toronto was playing hardball for whatever reason. And I guess eventually it just shook out once, Miami was swept out of the playoffs. They realized they needed to make a change. And so they did. Apparently they're bringing in Kyle Lowry. And I think it's a great move, to be honest with you. Miami's had some real issues defensively. I think everybody's pretty aware of those. I think Lowry, even though he's 35, he can still contribute at a pretty high level.
We had a conversation earlier about Heat culture. Both of us are a little bit bullish on the fact that Heat culture really does take a team, from, where they are to like a complete next level. But pitch us on Heat culture. What's your take on that? And like, we're going to bring this guy in. And here we go. Lonzo Ball has agreed to a 4-year, $85 million deal with the Chicago Bulls. So they're signing him to an offer sheet, it seems, at this point. So deals are happening. It is now 5 o'clock. Maybe we won't get into that conversation about Heat culture. But, give me your take on, Lowry, Heat culture, and what does that all mean?
It's all about accountability and just stability. I think, you talk to players who come in there and just join the team, and the first thing they mention is, well, we already see that there are people here in the front office that have been here for decades. And that's, ever since Pat Riley joined the team in 1995. And there's a stability that's just been a hallmark of this team ever since. And then as far as the accountability is concerned, they expect you to work hard. They have those kind of, checks and balances in place, like the bat tests and everything else like that, so that you're doing the work. And a guy like Jimmy Butler, who we know and is very fond of telling us how much he likes to work, is going to hold everybody accountable. And so I think that's a huge thing, is that when guys come in there, they know they're going to be able to take their games to a whole other level.
So we have now Lonzo Ball agreeing to a deal with the Bulls, which is an interesting one. We have also Will Barton finalizing a deal, 2 years, $32 million to return to the Nuggets. We have, there's another one.
There's Vincent Goodwill's reporting Kyle Lowry is expected to sign a 3-year deal with that sign and trade. So just basically what we heard yesterday.
What's your thoughts on the 3-year deal for Kyle Lowry? He's 35 years old. He's from Mavs. What Mavs fans told me that they didn't want Kyle Lowry is because he is fat and old. Basically, that's what they told me. What's your take on Lowry?
Well, he won't be fat in Miami. That's for sure.
He's gonna be running those sand dunes and getting up at 3 a.m.
Well, I think it's going to be great. I'm a little concerned about the amount of money in the third year. I'm not sure if there's going to be a team option or anything like that. I'm sure they'll try to work something in there where they can restructure a deal later on. But at this point, I think it's all about bringing in the guys that want to be there. I mean, with the rumors that they want to add DeMar DeRozan and other guys like that fit the culture, the mindset. Last year, it was they were kind of stuck in the middle between what happened in the bubble and then trying to recreate that and falling very short, and then having that open cap space to add a Giannis or somebody like that. Of course, obviously that didn't work out. And then you get, you have like this place now where you have to figure out whether or not you're a contender or whether or not you're a team that gets swept out of the first round. And then a guy like Lowry, I think, raises their ceiling pretty considerably.
We have a couple other deals going on. We have Mike Conley, 3-year, $68 million deal going back to the Utah Jazz. Boban coming back to the Dallas Mavericks. Finally, that is the only thing I was really nervous about. And, of course, Tim Hardaway Jr., 4-year, $72 million deal. Got him away from the Heat. The Mavericks finally got somebody to go there instead of Miami.
Well, I'm not sure how much he would have fit there, but he's probably a better fit than DeMar DeRozan, I guess.
The DeMar DeRozan story was really, really weird. That would have been a weird fit with Miami.
Well, I mean, it's still a possibility, isn't it? Or have I heard otherwise? I'm not sure if that's been reported, but I think, obviously being able to reconnect with Kyle, he's got a friendship with Jimmy. I think it would have worked, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what the fit would have been like, but again, as a guy who wants to be in Miami, I think that means a lot, because now you can kind of just focus on doing the work, on trying to get better, and maybe you can catch a break in the playoffs. It's all about that. Obviously, they're not going to ever be able to equate the level of talent that Brooklyn has, but if you can get guys on the same page and maybe find a way to catch a few breaks here and there, maybe you'll get lucky.
Who are the other guys now around that core of Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo? I mean, who else is going to be? Is Duncan Robinson coming back? Kendrick Nunn coming back? Those guys are both restricted free agents, I think, at this point. Who else is going to be around that core of those three?
The priority is Duncan. Obviously, just offensively, he adds so much to the team. He makes everybody's job easier. If you're looking at Lowry as a guy who can help things for Bam and kind of free up space a little bit, Duncan's certainly a guy who does that as well with his three-point shooting. None, I think, a little bit easier to reproduce or duplicate, so I think they're not as concerned about bringing him back. And then maybe getting some other veterans. Dwayne Dedmon's a guy that they really liked from last year. I think they might try to add a guy like J.J. Redick just because of his connection to Jimmy Butler from Philadelphia, his connection with Duncan Robinson. He always speaks very highly of Heat culture, so I don't know if they can pry him away from Dallas. So I'm not sure if that's a priority for the Mavs.
Yeah, what are they losing in Goran Dragic? And he may be a Maverick. It seems like he's going to be a Raptor first. What are your thoughts on Dragic on a different team now? What should they be expecting?
It's hard to say. Last year was really tough, not only because of the challenges of COVID and everything, but the fact that he was bouncing back from injury. It was just so hard to predict what version of Goran you were going to get. You had a night where he could score 25 points, and then he might go, 3 of 15 the following day. And it was tough to kind of expect something consistent out of him. And I think maybe that might be par for the course at 35. So he's always going to try hard. He's a hard worker, obviously. He still has that three-point shot. He's become more reliant on that as his offense continues to, not expand necessarily, but he can't get to the rim as easily. So now he just has to be able to shoot the ball pretty consistently from three-point range, and that's not necessarily a strong suit of his. But look, he's a great locker room guy. If he can go to Dallas, his connection with Luka, I think, is going to be obviously a strong one, and I think he can contribute to that team and bring something else out. But then again, I made the same prediction for Josh Hurtson, and that didn't work out so well either.
Any other things you're watching out for the Heat before we let you go?
Not really. I'm just how they fill out the rest of that roster. I mean, I think it's been pretty exciting to see that they could get in on Lowry. That was their target all along, and the fact that they've been, able to pull it off, just speaks volumes about that front office and everything they've been able to do over the last couple of years.
David Ramil locked on. Let's see. We have Jimmy Butler agreeing to a maximum contract extension with the Miami Heat when the year opens on August 6th. How are you feeling about a Jimmy Butler extension now that we just got that from Shams Charania?
No surprises there. I mean, they have to pay Jimmy. He chose to come to the team a couple of years ago. He's already taken him to the finals. He's, symbolic of Heat culture and everything else. And now he's their best recruit. He's their best recruiting guy too. So I think that, the fact that he was able to bring Kyle, a close friend of his, into the lineup, I think, it's clear they don't want to duplicate the same mistakes that they did with Dwayne Wade a few years ago.
David Ramil, Locked On Heat. I almost said Locked On Mavs. Locked On Heat, doing some great stuff over there. Locked On NBA on Tuesdays. Thanks so much for joining us, David.
You got it.